Well, this is going to be another shop video, but it's going to be kind of a different shop video, at least for me, and I hope you enjoy it. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building an airsoft version of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. gun. And I'm going to explain the whole genesis of this project, and if you're not already familiar with the Man from U.N.C.L.E., hopefully it'll become clear to you by the end of this, and then we'll get into it. Well, as some of you know, I am 66 years old, and when you reach a certain age, I mean, not that I'm ready for the old folks home yet or anything, but when you reach a certain age, you tend to reflect on things past, and nostalgia becomes a little more important to you. And thanks to the internet, you can actually find the artifacts of things from your past. But one of the things that I think really mattered to me, or had a big impact on me, was television. And for a lot of you who are younger, you might not realize what it was like when I was a kid. I'm actually from the first real TV generation. Okay, when I grew up, we always had a television. And that's certainly not the case for the generations before me. I mean, television itself was invented in the 1930s, but it really wasn't until the 1950s in America that it exploded and every home had a TV. But when I was a kid, TV was not like it is now. I mean, we didn't have cable TV, for instance. We didn't have all these streaming services, which, to be honest with you, streaming is pretty much the only thing that I even watch on TV anymore, right? So back when I was a kid, we had 3 networks, 3 channels, and you had to get up and turn a dial to go from one to the other, right? So you watched what was on, or you read a book, or you went out and played, which we did all summer. But in the wintertime, when it got dark, where I lived in New England, it got dark like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There was not much to do besides watch TV. And for a young kid, when you're 10 years old, play a game or something. But so we had 3 choices at any given time at night. And if they were all lousy, we watched the lesser of 3 evils and made the best of it, right? And you might think that was the worst situation, but to be honest with you, the worst situation was when there was more than one really good show on at the same time, because you can only watch one of them. I mean, there were no VCRs, no DVDs, no DVRs. None of that stuff was invented yet. So if there were 2 great shows on at the same time on different channels, well, you can only watch one. So you had to commit to one and basically watch it all year, and if you were lucky, you could catch the other one during the summer repeat season, because that's the way things went then. They made 22 or 25 episodes of a show, and you watched it starting in the fall till about when school got out, and then they would run reruns in the summer. So if there were 2 good shows on, you could catch the other one in reruns. The only way to do it. Nothing like it is today, right? So I know it will come as no surprise to you that I enjoyed westerns, which were probably the predominant thing on TV when I was a kid. Right? There were some great westerns, and I truly enjoyed them. But the other genre that I really liked as a kid were spy shows, which were just phenomenal, right? And they had some great ones in the early to mid 60s. Simon Templar as the Saint, The Avengers, right, with Steed and Emma Peel, with Diana Rigg. And I gotta tell you that Diana Rigg fueled my pre-adolescent fantasies, even when I was too young to know what a fantasy was. I mean, that woman was amazing. When my parents would go out on a Saturday night with their friends, and they'd hire a babysitter, I would pray that somebody who looked like Emma Peel would show up. So I spent my young pre-adolescent years alternating between anticipation and disappointment. But, of course, there were other great shows. Secret Agent, I Spy, which I will confess was probably my favorite of the TV spy shows. Just excellent, still excellent. I've got the boxed DVD set, and it's great. And The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And that was a show that when I see it now, it doesn't really hold up, except in one characteristic, which is the chemistry between the stars. Robert Vaughn and David McCallum was outstanding. It was excellent, and there are still some really witty and funny scenes. But this was a show from kind of the Mad Men era, right, where everybody had real tight suits and they were hyper sophisticated New Yorkers. And as a friend of mine used to say, back in those days, men's pants were so tight you could tell a guy's religion just by looking at him. But they were definitely cool. And it occurs to me, from talking to younger people, that people my age know what The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was, and a lot of younger people have, of course, never heard of it, right? So let's take a look at the intro to The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and give you an idea of what I'm talking about.
On a street in the East 40s, there's an ordinary tailor shop. Or is it ordinary? We entered through the agent's entrance, and we are now in U.N.C.L.E. headquarters. That's the United Network Command for Law and Enforcement.
My name is Napoleon Solo. I'm an enforcement agent in Section 2 here. That's operations and enforcement.
I am Ilya Kuryakin. I am also an enforcement agent. Like my friend Napoleon.
Okay, so one of the really cool things about The Man from U.N.C.L.E. were the guns, which was a modified Walther P38. And you can see Agent Ilya Kuryakin here is putting a bunch of the accessories on it. But here you've got Agent Napoleon Solo, and he's holding the basic pistol. And that's what we're going to be building today. So I decided, if essentially my Man from U.N.C.L.E. gun is really going to be just a toy, why not start out with a toy? Right? So I picked up this Airsoft gun, replica of a P38 from UK Arms. I got it on eBay. I think I paid, I'm going to say $16 for it, not much. And I'll tell you, I've never owned an Airsoft gun. And a lot of people say, oh, there's way better brands than that. And I bet there are. They cost more money. And I don't care, because this does what I want it to do. So, let me get this out. So here is the Airsoft P38 from UK Arms, right? And just for the sake of comparison, here is a real P38, 9mm, right? We'll just show you. All empty. Let me drop that. Okay, real gun, Airsoft gun. Pretty cool, right? So it's got the look I want, and it has that funky orange tip on it, but that's going bye-bye, so that's no big deal. So instead of ruining this for no reason, there we go. Instead of ruining a good P38, I'll take a chance on ruining a $16 Airsoft gun. Now, like I said, I've never owned an Airsoft gun. This is a 6mm one, and it actually shoots these little plastic balls. right, just like that. So that's airsoft ammunition. I'll just show you how it works. These guns have a magazine. Set up a little target here. Right, so the little pellet goes in there. Slide actually works. Now it's charged. No safety on this thing. All right, let's shoot it. Light with my big head. All right, we got a little man from U.N.C.L.E up there. Boom, right? So that's how this works. What I'm going to try to do is modify this so that it still works when I'm done. So here is the TV man from U.N.C.L.E gun. It's a base P38, and the barrel is shortened, and it has this real funky flash suppressor on it, which, by the way, does not work in real life. It's just for looks. So the barrel is a 1/2 inch long, and there's a 1 inch flash suppressor on it. The hammer is bobbed, which I'm not going to do, and I'm not going to bother remaking the grips. I just want the general silhouette. So this is what we're going for in our little conversion today. All right, well, the original U.N.C.L.E gun had all sorts of attachments, like I said. And I really don't care about that. All I'm interested in is one attachment, the flash hider. All right, now this was supposed to be a suppressor. Obviously, there's nothing to it. It's just a metal cage. But it's still pretty cool. Now, this is the most expensive part of this conversion. I also got this off of eBay from Hollywood Props, and it's threaded, right? And it's going to go on the barrel right here. Right, and that's pretty much the whole conversion. So what I'm going to have to do is cut the barrel off, true it up, drill it, tap it, and hopefully we'll be in business. And all right, so the first step is to cut the barrel to 1/2 inch in length, and I've marked it with this ring of white duct tape, and I'm just going to hacksaw it off. Okay, well, it's a little bit of a surprise, but I'm going to show you. I had thought that the barrel was solid, just like that, all the way through. As it turns out, that's not the case. There was actually an insert, the real barrel, if you will, and this barrel is just a sleeve. So I had to shorten that insert up, which I did with a cutting head on a Dremel. But the real difference is I thought I'd have enough meat here to be drilling and tapping to put this on. And in point of fact, I don't. All right, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to epoxy it in, which is what I will do in a minute. I'm just going to true it up first. Okay, I've epoxied it with JB Weld, and I'm using an elastic band to clamp it, and we'll just let that cure up, and we'll see what we got. All right, the JB Weld is cured. We've got our flash suppressor on in place, and I'll tell you what, it's looking like a man from U.N.C.L.E gun. Here's just a little tip, just something I do when I'm epoxying something. I did this with JB Weld, right, which is basically liquid steel, or some people call it liquid duct tape. What I do is I take a stick and I put it in the excess on the card I'm mixing up the two-part epoxy on, and by that I can tell, because I leave it in the same environment, I can tell how well the stuff is curing, because obviously I can't see it curing in here, right? But I can see and feel it curing here, and I can tell if it has cured up good and hard here, that it will have done what it's supposed to do in here, right? So there we go, man from U.N.C.L.E gun. Let's see if it's still functional. It should be, because I worked hard to anchor the real barrel in there and get it keep it clear. Alright, so they load with these little white 6mm BBs. Once again, it goes into the magazine right there. And the magazine goes into the gun just like a real one would. We rack the slide to cock it. There is no safety. So, anyway, let's see how it shoots. If it shoots. Okay, let's see how we do. Well, it shot, not very accurately. Well, nobody's going to confuse the Airsoft Man from U.N.C.L.E. gun as a lethal weapon, but it did put a couple of holes in my little paper target here, so... And on these winter days when you can't get out to the range, maybe plinking around with a little airsoft gun is about as much fun as we're likely to have. So, what the heck. Anyway, Man from U.N.C.L.E. gun. If you enjoyed this video, heaven help you, but if you enjoyed it, you know, give it a thumbs up. Right? We love that. It's kind of a departure for me, so if this is the sort of thing you really love, I don't know if you'll really like the rest of the stuff on the channel, but you might. So, if you do, subscribe to the channel, and you can support us on Patreon, should you like to, but you don't have to. And I'll try to put the links to the bits and pieces of this down below in the description, should you want to do this thing for yourself. And until next week, bye.